పుట్టి అటు సైడే చేయండి అమ్మా, ఇక్కడ సైడ్ వద్దు. తెలుగు मदर टंग तेलुगु है मैम. नहीं, फ्रॉम 5th क्लास सेकंड लैंग्वेज हिंदी, तो वैसे याद है.
Dear participants, welcome back to the third day of this program. We have our speaker for today, a very young entrepreneur, Mr. Harshvardhan Lahiri from Jaipur, Rajasthan. And he has an impressive profile. He is the founder of two venture as a full stack developer back when he was in his 10th standard. Then he learned AR and VR, and then he got a job with Autodesk because of his complementary skill set. Then he transitioned to a full stack ML engineer, and now he develops blockchains as well. And so we have a talented speaker and resource person with us today. Sir, may I request you to start the session, please?
Thanks a lot, Ismat, for that warm. And so, yeah, I hope many people have already joined and many people are about to join. But let's begin with for the. So, so the thing is, today we will cover how to create the modeling scenes in Unity, and let's begin with some basics of Unity. So let me just quickly turn on my screen sharing. So yeah, I hope my screen is visible too well. So
yes, it is.
Cool, awesome. So Unity.com is the website from where you can get the Unity platform, the product itself, right? So currently I am on the Windows operating system, and based on your operating system, you may decide from where to choose. So whenever you go to Unity.com and you come to the footer section of their website, there you will find Get Unity. So you can directly go to Get Unity, or even you can just go to directly download archive. Here in the archive, you will get multiple options which Unity version you need to select. So before 2017, Unity used to call their products like Unity 3, Unity 4, just like how Android used to release their earlier versions, quite old versions, just like Android Ice Cream or Sandwich or Honeycomb, things like that. So now Unity have started renaming their products as 2021 based on the year they are launching it, so that people have a clarity that which version they want to use, and just for making things simplified. No, Unity is not open source. So Yeah, unfortunately, it's not open source. Neither is Unreal. But yeah, if you want to try out some open source uh, game engine, so I have recently came across Godot. So this is one of the coolest game engine which you can try out if you want to try out something with open source. But any which ways, let's coming back to the Unity, because right now today we are going to use Unity. So yeah, Unity is free of cost. They have their community version which you can use and download and use for your personal projects. And if you want to use it for commercial projects, then you have to take a pro license. So that's there. Thank you so much, Priyank. Um so, first of all, you need to just click on the Unity Hub. So, right now, I have already installed my Unity Hub. So, whenever you open, you are done with the installation of Unity Hub, so you can go thereby and you can just come to Unity Hub. Then you can click on this tab, add, and there they will give you the versions which you want to download. So LTS hereby stands for long term support. So whichever versions are coming with the LTS tag, so they are considered to be a long term support. And any program or any application created within these versions or any game designed within these versions are accessible in later versions as well. So it's best recommended to use LTS, but right now I'm using this version, which is the latest one. So I have a pro edition of it. So I already created one of these projects, which I'm about to start on. So let's take a deep dive into Unity. Uh, few minutes, it's opening. So, just for the sake of saving time and all of that, so I have basically created one of my own scenes. So I will be walking you guys through the whole layout. So let's first explore how Unity functions. So whenever you want to create a project, you can come over by and you can just click on new project, or if you have any existing project which you want to access. So right now, as I have prepared zipped and file all of these folders in one of the in one zip archive, and I have uploaded it on Google Drive. So here's the link from whereby you can download these files, and if you want to follow along, so you can follow along, or even if you want to access them for later, so you can even have access to those for later. So coming back to the layout itself, so Unity basically gives you a lot many options. So here you have the toolbars. So toolbars you get different option. File is definitely for opening files as assumed. Then you get and go into edit. So in edit you have lot many options, and here we are going to explore few of them. And then you also have assets option where you can create your own assets, and you can import new asset, you can import a whole package, you can export this whole package, and then you can create another C sharp project. So basically Unity uses the programming language called C sharp, which is also developed by Microsoft. And like it's the predefined one. It comes as a default in Unity. Apart from C Sharp, Unity also lets you program in JavaScript. So these two languages are most widely supported in Unity, and you can use these to create your own things within Unity. So then you have game objects, okay, where you can create, add different game objects, and few are already there in the scene. So I will be explaining them very soon. Coming to components also you have lot many things. Mesh is also there. So mesh is basically just like what you say, just like this grid kind of thing. So this grid right now represents the grid architecture for the space for this scene, whole scene. But the mesh, if you enable mesh, so mesh will represent the thing for this one. Let's say, so right now I enabled one of the mesh. So this selection outline. So it's telling you about the properties of the objects which you right now have. So just for the sake of visibility, let me reduce, get back the things. Coming back to components, and then you have windows. So in windows you also get the option for asset store. So asset store, let me show you guys. So asset store is one of the great Unity's features. It's the link to this is assetstore.unity.com. Hereby you can go and check out any cool asset for your project. Let's say I want something cinematic for my game, and I can search over here and you will find a lot of assets. So there are paid assets as well as free assets. So if you want to find out for free assets, you can set up a filter over here, and we see that there are 37 free assets right now available with the keyword cinematic, and you can have a look on these. So just like that, you get lot many different assets, animations, GUI, VFX, 3D, 2D, all kind of assets which you can download from here. And even you can also hereby post your asset, or if you want to publish your own asset, you can even publish that asset in this marketplace to sell other people. So let's start with the layout. So right now this tab where you are actually able to see the whole thing, the spacecraft. So this tab is called scene. So here you are able to see what scene you are dealing with. So here you get option for 2D and 3D as well. So if you like it right now, it's a 3D model in a 2D environment. So and then you also get a game scene. So whenever if I like later we will do some scripting and all, we will add more things. So thereby you can see whenever the things become functional. So that is rendered on the game screen, and game basically gives you preview of how the application will look like once you export it, once you build it. So that's what there in the game. Then we come back to the project. So right now here's the project list. So assets is the folder, main parent folder. Then there within the assets we have lens flare. So these are different kind of assets. Let me go into one of them and show you. So just like this six blade aperture is there, and this contains lot many elements as well. Then it has a flare texture of clear sun. So uh, let me show you. Yeah. So so this sun you are able to see, and the light coming from this sun. So it's basically built using this six blade aperture and the clear sun. Okay, and then you in the background are able to see the galaxy and stars. So all of these are made using different textures. And like as I have shared the file link with you so you guys can download and have these assets. But yeah, these assets are just for the use of educational purpose. Then if we come to the material, so in material we will be creating our own material pretty soon. And then comes the scene. So right now we have just one scene which is called main. You can create multiple scenes and then you can add transitions in one scene from another. And I think in upcoming sessions, the following ones, you will be able to explore more about working with different scenes. Right now, we will just work with one single scene, which is this scene. And here we will try to add some animations and some more effects to this spaceship. Let's say, like a spaceship throwing laser or a spaceship having a thrust, something like that. And then we also, so basically, this is the spaceship, and like it's built in Substance Painter. So, so it's built in Substance Painter, and thereby it's developed and then imported to Unity. You can always create 3D assets in different programs like Blender, Autodesk Maya, 3D Max, any program, any 3D software you want to use. So coming to, let's start with the scene, and hereby we also have hierarchy where the hierarchy is represented. Like we have the main scene, and within main scene we have two elements the first one is sky, and then we have ship. So if I like hide ship, so you are now not able to see the ship anymore. So that's the whole thing. And then you also have main camera. So this is the whole main camera, and it gives you the perspective what is available over here. So let me reduce the main camera as of now, and let's come back to ship. So in the inspector, you are able to find out different components. So you have this hull where I have added a mesh renderer. So the mesh thing I was talking about, so it's the same thing. So here you have a mesh, and then you can also set up colliders. So then you can even function something like, let's say there's an asteroid nearby, and if that hits with the spaceships, and then there should be some physics event happening, and there should be some collision happening. So things like that you can add and delete. So this is the whole mesh collider, and like if you want, I can walk you through this, and we can like have the questions saved for last couple of minutes. So coming to laser, so here it's an empty component right now, which is right now tied to the ship, and it's just an empty component. It's basically you can create a empty component by right clicking and create empty. So it will create another game object, empty game object, and you can name it whatever you want. Let's say I can name it asteroid. Okay, if I want to create or add asteroid in this thing. But right now, coming back to the laser. So here we have this laser component. And let's start by adding some cool things into this thing. So I will begin with adding a line renderer so that it will you know add line into this thing. And then we have positions as well. So this position basically here by the indexing goes on, and like the greater you make the number of z axis, so the larger the whole line becomes. So it looks like that the spaceship is emitting some kind of object or some kind of light or some kind of laser. So that's the whole point over here to build this thing out. So let me make it 30. as of now, or like if you want, we can go larger, let's say 50, so that feels like it's going to infinity. Coming, what we can do over here is that let's create some materials, okay? And in the material, let's add some more things. So I will come to the material section over here and let me create a new material, which I will name laser. And in laser, I will change the shader from standard to particles and then from particle to additive. So, and you will be soon able to see the difference once we do this thing. Once we change the particle over here. So here you have material options. So in the element, you just drag and pull and drop it over there by and see the whole lightning change in just in a moment, right? So now you can see that the laser has a different kind of lighting. So let's fine tune this out. So let's change the tint color to uh, this white. Cool. This white works. And then in the laser, and then I'm also going to add texture to this material so that we get so this vertical gradient texture added. Now coming back to laser, now I can add different lightings into this, and I can create a whole so let me see if we can add something reddish to this so that it looks more like of laser. We make it orange. Cool. So now it's also kind of more of like laser, and thereby we have this laser color over there. So, and we can even create multiple layers for this.
मैं कर दे रहा हूँ क्या आ रहा है नेटवर्क देखो
Cool. Now it's matching. So this is how we created one laser object element. It's just a basic empty game object to which we just right now added a material. That material gives it a texture, and based on that texture, and just to define how the lighting looks like, how different warm effect we are getting. So for that, we added shader into this thing. And hereby, I also need to manipulate one more thing. So I will go into the scripts shaders folder, and thereby I have one of the Unity built-in shader. So in built-in shader, I'm going to edit this. What is this? And I additive flow, and I'm going to open it up. So hereby, you see, there is this first line, particles and additive. So I'm going to change it into phi slash additive glow, and I'm going to make this save. And also in the bottom, we see that there's this two number. So I'm going to change this as well to a bigger number. And what it's going to do is basically right now we see that this is not that bright looking, right? So to make it more bright, we can change its intensity, flux intensity, and thereby here's this formula where we can change this intensity, and now it has become more brighter and it's looking more natural. So that's what we have done. And now in the shader, sorry, in the material, I need to again go thereby and change it to, so it right now automatically pick up the additive flow as because we have already made it the manual thing. So this is one thing which we have done. So now let's add some light into this thing so that it creates a reflection, and we can see a reflection of this laser on the spaceship as well. So in the in the light within, let's pick up spotlight and let's create this spotlight. So by pressing R, I'm able to rotate it, move it. I'm rename this object as laser shadow, and we can parent it within laser and move it hereby. We can rotate it with move it hereby. And within the laser, let's add this spot. So again, we will play with the shadow in upcoming time. So just like this, we can add a few more textures to this. See if I have the textures prepared for the shadow. This way, add All right, let's stop it here. By let's come back to the thruster. So hereby we also have the thruster.
हाँ हाँ ओके
So hereby we also have thruster.
ठीक है
So for the thruster again, I'm going to add another line renderer into this thruster, and we are going to create the rippling effect, which you always see naturally whenever a spacecraft goes or moves into the space. It ejects some fuel. So that is the effect we are right now here by trying to achieve. And let me again create a material for this thruster. So let's call that. Hereby also I'm going to give it the sapphire additive glow, and we are going to make its position bigger, and the indexing as well. Cool. So I didn't put negative that time, and that's why it was going in the reverse direction. So adding negative, it will bring you towards the side. And let's make it 20, 25. This big is enough. And you also see like it's right now looks like a line. So there's like something, and it doesn't seems to be very natural looking. So let's position it a bit lower, and let's make it size some more. Let's increase its width from one. So to this material, I'm going to give another texture, which we have created. So it basically masks the light coming. It creates this kind of effect, which looks more natural for the thing. And let me you know, add or manipulate the texture to some more amount. So this is what we have done so far, and let me scale it a bit. to- Cool, awesome. So meanwhile, here while we are done, and so far, like whatever we learned, so we are going to about to begin with the what you say. Let's begin with the shading, and meanwhile, I'm open for 5 to 10 minutes to whatever questions we have. So let's go with the chat questions. So Vinayak uh, asked like, what are the specs of my laptop? So currently, I have a 4 GB of graphic card, as well as the RAM is 16 GB, and my processor is i9 right now. So that's the current configuration of my laptop. But
Okay, one more thing, whether to go for the MSI laptop or the other any other laptops.
mine one is the Asus one, but yeah, MSI also you can see like if you get any configuration. So right now minimum requirements for the Unity is basically you just need to create so right now Unity requires a 4 GB of graphic card minimum, and 4 GB of RAM and processor above i5. So it functions very well with that configuration.
And one more thing related to the graphic card, where to go for the GTX or RTX?
Uh, you can go for anyone, AMD one or Nvidia one. It depends, but the Nvidia one is like more compatible and gives you more options. Uh, and the AMD one, you need to configure that a lot. In few cases, like when you go deeper. But yeah, overall, if you just want to have a general use, then you can just go for any of them.
Okay, thank you.
Uh, any other questions?
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Sure. Good morning.
Yeah. I have a question. We actually want to develop some scenes for the educational setting. For example, if we are teaching a student to fold paper or do some stuff which is required in an arts and crafts class, or the basic things like about the solar system and these stuff,
Right.
is Unity too complicated to work on it, or are there any other available software which we can use possibly which are simpler? What would be your
Uh,
recommendation on this?
Well, for creating such kind of scenes, I mean, yeah, Unity is quite friendly in that way. There are other softwares, but those have a steeper learning curve, uh, unlike Unity. So it depends, like what you actually want, and like what you actually want to do, and like what kind of
Okay.
support you have.
Okay.
Yeah, but like Unity's ecosystem is quite mature, and you get a lot of pre-built scenes in most of the cases. And right now, majority of the companies uses Unreal and Unity as a majority thing. So it's
Okay.
quite effective as of now.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Will you please share the docs where we can learn the basics of the Unity? Right now, see on the website itself, they have given the tutorial about the Unity,
Mhm.
but again, in order to understand it in a better way, So are there any
Yeah,
well, no
the
issue.
uh, yeah.
Please,
So
Satya.
there are like couple of channels which like I have also used to learn from, and probably I will create one document. I will add that to the drive folder which I shared where these files are available, whereby you can get the list or resources for learning more of the Unity thing.
Yes, it will be useful and grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Deepika, you had a question.
Yeah, I had the same question regarding, if you can guide us like a step by step, the people who are learning for the first time and to understand, have a proper understanding because you're explaining in a, such a wonderful way. So if we get a step by step, thing so that we can follow it and we can learn it. So that will be a great benefit for us.
Sure thing, sure thing. Definitely, I will definitely try to explore out. So that's why I took a break and I just, went into the discussion of this question answer, that if you have any of the doubts till so far, like whatever walkthrough we did, so that I can repeat something. And if you want me to explain something within that, so we can have that as well discussed. Uh, so, any more questions? No more questions. So, can we resume
No, sir.
again?
No more questions.
All right, awesome. So, let's then resume again. So coming back again, let's try to add up the light. And hereby we have like soft shadows. Just let me see how we are moving this thing out. So this there's this light shadow forming, but right now it won't be available on real time. It will be available during when we render the project and see afterwards. So at that point of time, we can see it out, but not right now because it's not supported currently in the real time. But yeah, in previous versions, it was supported. Right now, they might have made some changes in the latest one, which I have to go through again. But apart from that, let's try to create the thruster much more effective if we can. Let's see if we can add more vertices into this. Awesome. So it sounds interesting right now. So let's try to do something with scripting. So let's see if we can blink this laser, and for that we need to create a script. So I'm going to right click and sorry, I created. So I'm going to right click and create a script over here. So So within the project folder, when you right click, you will be able to, create a new script. So let me name it laser and let's create the script. So within laser, what we are going to do is, so just right now, like you have this laser as of now, but just for the save of time, I have already coded the laser and we are going to use the existing code. And I'm also going to type hereby system. So here what we are basically doing is that we are creating a public class fire laser which has a behavior, and then we are going to play with couple of properties like the line rendering, how the line is rendering, and then the transform, then light with the laser light as well, and then we will try to figure out some speed of laser controlling. And then we have two functions in the start. We just want the laser to be of the tint color which we have already set in the scene. Then its position is what we are going to pick, and we are going to build the laser once again. And initially also we are going to set the laser intensity to 0 so that it doesn't begins at the just beginning of the scene, and so that it's like that. And then we also have this void update method where whenever we do a mouse click event, so at that point of time the fire happens. So I have set up a function over here that input dot get mouse button down. So 0 stands for the left click button and 1 stands for the right click button. So by pressing left click, we will be able to see uh, the laser fire happening. So let's add the laser script to this. And for that, I just need to drag and drop over to laser. And hereby I've got the laser script added. Sorry, let me not put it on laser. Let me put it on ship so that we get more control. So this is the script. Let me see what is that.
So I think so. It is in the generic. After generic, you have to provide semicolon. You are given the colon.
That's so. Oh yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so now we can see it functioning. So just a second, I will open. So we have this script attached to the ship right now, and it's individually attached to all the things. And hereby on the ship, we have the laser script. Let's see if it works over here. I, okay, sorry. This is the whole project itself. Cool. So hereby we have the laser. We also have the spotlight to laser. And let's see. So this is what we have added so far, and we also added the script to the ship, and hereby we have pulled up three properties to that, and seeing the script over here. So this is the basic script which we have added to this, and hereby we have the scene functions which we created for changing the tint color and for changing fire. So thereby we are just taking the input of mouse, and the action is happening. And let's see how the action is happening. So this is how the ship moves. And when I press left button, so it fires or it emits the laser. So it basically if like you read, sorry, if like you uh, read the things, then you see on the inspector the properties changes, right? So this is how it basically functions. So again, coming back, we also added the script to the trail as well. So and at the end, we are having a trail where we added another script to the thruster as well. And here we added gradient to thruster, uh, and we made couple of changes. We added also the shader to this, uh, and then that shader also has the same properties which I already right now showed you. So let's see what this thruster script has. So thruster script basically functions on two things: the line and the thruster light. And then we also have the ship speed. So whenever I max the speed, which I have right now set to a limit of 50, so whenever I do that, so at that point of time, you will see the thruster emitting some light. Okay. And right now, we had this. So coming back to the thruster, sorry, coming back to the spaceship, we are now able to see it. So that's what happened whenever whenever you will see it will begin with a slow and then it will keep flickering and throwing its arrow. So it makes it look realistic, and that's what we tried to do over here. So basically thruster. So within thruster, what we did is basically created three properties. One is the line renderer, where we are having a thruster line. Then we are also having the light, thruster light, and we also created a range as well. So the reason why we created the range is because whenever we tried to make the thruster flicker, so at that point of time, we should have its flicker value less than 0.5. So whenever it goes above that value, so you will see that it doesn't look natural. So it also sometimes give black shadows, white shadows, and different type of colors. So that's the whole thing why it doesn't look natural. And to maintain that naturality, we just limit it to 0.1 f so that it stays in tune with what we are trying to achieve over here. Then we also set up the flicker speed. So flicker speed basically deals with the intensity of this material. So it keeps on changing the intensity of light. Just a second. I am Yeah, so basically it plays with the intensity of this material, shadow material, and you just hard code to change the intensity of the shadow material so that it becomes dim and then it again becomes bright, and that's how it turns on dim and bright and makes a flickering effect in altogether. So that is what done, and then we like set up a start function where we just initialize that thruster line where we just want to create it over. Thereby we get the color and we initially set it to zero intensity. And whenever the update becomes, so based on the depending on the speed, it changes its intensity. Okay, and that's how it flickers. So now changing intensity code is scripted within the ship mover. So whenever within ship mover, like you can define this speed of the ship or whatever speed you want to go. So let's say I put it 20. So right now it will flicker very very low. Okay, but when I set it to max out 50, uh, so it will at that point of time flicker too much, right? But let me change it to 10 so that I can show you in slow. So let's, for the sake, let's save it and make it 5. So now if I make 5, you will be now able to see that within the 5 itself, it flickers very, very less, right? So that's the whole thing. And if I make it 50, you will see it flickers too much. So this is how we coded this function within ship mover. And here I like you can even set out the default speed to be 50 whenever the waypoint radius. So basically what it does is, so we created another two start and update functions, and these are by default functions. So whenever you want to do it, so you have to have these functions to make the Unity program realize that you want to tell it to do something on start, and whenever you want to update any frame within the scene, even you can transition it, uh, and you can then create different kind of scenes as well. So that is also what you can do. Now coming to like translate and thereby we are just translating the read and verification and aggregation of space code, and this is how we designed it. Hope till this point of time it's pretty much clear, but the coding aspect, if you want, I can go line by line, explain you everything. Like if you guys have any other questions, so I'm up for that.
Or sorry.
Any questions? So they, uh, they, wait, wait, I, we like more the, uh, we have uh, two like if you use program.
स्वदेश भाई, इस्मत नाम है तो बुलाओ ना.
Uh, uh, and like, uh, the okay, uh, so, wait, cool. You just, type in the for the and and whenever you reach a you learn Unity learn thereby you can also access the depth that they are in the so they have to go few terms of code. And what does it mean by that? That whenever you have a 2019 LTS version, you create the and if you
है,
to 2020
चालू है.
21, so have it will be definitely so to uh, with long term So that to so that yeah, that
हर्षवर्धन क्या बोल रहा है
so
यूनिटी
that
सॉफ्टवेयर बोल रहा है
uh,
मैं एक डाल के दूं जिसको सबको एडमिट करे था ऑटो एडमिट
yeah, so
एक मिनट सर
you have to so the, you have to uh, display options or the
थीम क्या है सेशन की
unity. Click you to download directly and this page by print instead 20 of the word the app after click
ये क्या बोलते
add
ये लो डोमेन जो लिए ना
or
5,000
the
830 या कुछ लिए बेसिक
key
इसमें गूगल मीट में बहुत सारे चीजें नहीं दे रहा होस्ट कंट्रोल
is uh,
नहीं देता
you
ऑटो ऑटो ऐड का भी नहीं दे
update
रहा डाल के दे तुम ऑटो ऐड
for the site
कौन सा
so that we so that
इसमें मत दे एक मिनट ये डायरेक्ट यूट्यूब लाइव चल रहा ये विंडो इसमें दे
have
through should
key different series
मैं पहले
change
बहुत करता था वैसे काम
to
अभी
but
मेरे क्लास को कितने भी रहने दो पूरे ऑटो एडमिट होते
through
नहीं वो तो आपने मानो वाली इससे लिए तो ऑप्शन आ जा रहा डायरेक्ट नॉर्मल कहाँ चल रहा होता इसमें रिफ्रेश करना है करो हाँ रिफ्रेश कर दो घूमने चलेगा गूगल मीट नहीं गूगल इसको खोल के बंद लेना पड़ता वापस इसको क्लोज करके ही करना पड़ता क्लोज करके करना पड़ता इसको ये विंडो को विंडो पर ये YouTube लाइव में OBS के थ्रू स्क्रीनिंग हो रहा ये विंडो और भाई एक बार एक क्लोज करके करना पड़ता ना एक बार करना चिटिक स्टिक्स
where
हाँ
is
एक काम करेंगे ना अभी बस सेशन खत्म ही हो रहा है ये
uh,
सेशन खत्म होते ही कैसा भी स्ट्रीमिंग रोकते हैं ना अरे तुम ही दोनों आ गए वहाँ पे YouTube दिख रहा क्या सबको मैच
uh,
कार्ड
what
यस पीछे से कैसा रहा लिया तो मालूम हुआ पीछे जो बैनर है
see
ऑगमेंटेड रियलिटी है वो
you the pre so
5 मिनट्स बाकी है खत्म होते ही
uh,
नेक्स्ट टाइम बुलाते कि बात सेशन अपने को नहीं बुलाते कैसा क्या सेशन पूछना है
it
बात
just
बात सुनेंगे नहीं सुनेंगे
let's say
वीडियो से ना कैसा भी तो जल्दी खत्म ही हो जाता सेशन 11:30 को तब 9 to 11 एक घंटे से बोल रहा है 9 to 11 फिर 11:30 to 1:30 फिर 2:30 to 4 तक
met the
आवाज कहाँ से आ रही है
five
इसमें मैडम का है
just
बहुत पैसे है मैडम के पास नया नया लैपटॉप लेते हैं मैडम गए कहाँ
uh,
ये ये आज नेटवर्क बहुत सता रहा अपना मानो का तो नो
uh,
मोबाइल में जो है करेक्ट के बाहर गई आलू से लगाने में बन जाओ
that with it
छुपा ली ना मैडम बुक भी छुपा ली मैडम का सेशन कब है
आज आज सेकंड हाफ में है।
There, you will be with
आपको मालूम ये इससे क्या होता
ये हो जा रहा ऑटो एडमिट शायद
there.
बंद अपन ये विंडो को क्लोज नहीं करे फिर भी जो है आ
ले लिया
जा
हमने भी
ले ले।
You, you to
मैडम का आज है इवनिंग।
ये 3D प्रिंटिंग से क्या होता मालूम
eventually
अगर समझो यहाँ का टूट गया बना सकते हैं बना के डाल सकते
make the rest of the sector one catch got
कहाँ का है बच्चा
राजस्थान।
cut
हम्म
it with the body so 20 that got we scripting and factors
Can so in
from some uh, uh, they go that
thank